When you see these pre-stressed concrete beams sitting perfectly on the columns of a bridge, it seems as natural as it can be. And one might assume that this is just how they're made, the bridge above and the river below, but placing these beams is quite possibly the most difficult task that you've ever seen performed. As old as time itself is the need for a surface to work from, somewhere sturdy to stand as you carry the load, a scaffold if you will, but one made of the hardest steel, one built in sections so it would fit to any span size. We'll call this a launcher, and placing it is the next dilemma. So with the help of a giant construction crane, we'll pick it up and slowly move it towards the gap that is 55 feet deep and wider than you would care to imagine. How could this possibly be done without the help of giant machinery, you might ask yourself? Constructing a bridge is a daunting task, even dangerous, but necessary. But with the launcher connecting both sides, it is feasible to pass the beam to the other side. And this is where our story begins. The men are busy as always on this bridge site when the foreman shouts, "The beam is here! Get your butts in gear!" It takes every bit of 6 hours to pull a beam this size all the way from Belize City driving the coastal road. And with one giant yank, the crane's got the back end of the beam in the air, pulling it towards the launcher as the truck backs up some more, moving slowly and steadily until they finally set it down. Now they're strapping up a cable to the trailer, lifting it up, then setting it back down conveniently into a hole dug earlier with the excavator. There's no stopping us now. As the truck backs up, the beam begins to move across the launcher. Damn the bad luck, it's hung up on something. Things like this happen, you just gotta deal with it. The problem is that the joint in the track was crushed by the weight of the beam. So with a little welding, a little grinding and shaping, it seems like we're back on track. But word reaches the big man and he wants to know what's going on. It's like this, boss man. It got hung up, but now we got it fixed. We'll be moving the beam in a minute. Roki's got to take a look, cause he don't want no problems. Once more, he's reassured that all is well, as the big man proclaims, "This break's over, let's move this beam." With a screech and a grind and the rev of a diesel power plant, the beam is scooted across the launcher, pretty as you please. It's like this beam is huge, and when it's straddling the river, we're going to pick it up, you see? Crane number 2 is hooking up on his end, and this whole thing is beginning to look pretty good. Now that this bad boy is setting still, let's take a closer look. See the bow? That's where the beam takes the weight. The men are climbing up the pillars to take their positions on part 2 of this little dance that we call hanging a beam. You got 3 feet to walk on, and we're going to give you a strap so you can pull this 40-ton beam. Sound easy? It's not. But hey, this is my job. Like many of the hardest things that we'll ever do, it starts off easy. The cranes are doing most of the work, and you're wondering just how this is all going to work out. As the beam is raised higher and higher, the men on top are beginning to wonder why they're even up there. Life is kind of funny like that. Sometimes you get the pie jobs, or so it seems. And they are about to find out right now. And the struggle begins when you realize that there's nowhere left to stand, and this is getting real. The boss man is shouting, "Hold it back, push it to the mark," and suddenly you realize that you are playing the lead role in this bridge construction show. All this hoo-ha has gotten the attention of the number 2 boss man, and it's time for him to show you how it's done. We will ride this monster all the way down. With commands that are crystal clear and experience beyond our years, this gigantic affair is orchestrated to sweet completion. As heart rates and tempers begin to return to normal, the beam is unhooked, just in time to see the next one coming down the road. Here's to you, boys. You got your work cut out for you. To build a bridge. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now that's all good and fine, but there was so much that was missed. Let's go back, way back, all the way back to when the beam first arrived. Hanging the beam with the launcher at Mullens River, take 2. There's no getting around it. There's dirty work to be done. And with an investment like this hanging in the balance, it's got to be just right. This ground's got to be level. This ground's got to be compacted. There's got to be enough room to turn this mother around, and the whole country depends on it. What could be more important than building a bridge? People's got places to go and things to do, and they're in the business of taking care of business. So now you're starting to see just how cool engineering and bridge construction really is. So rock on, men of M&M Engineering. The whole world's watching you to build a bridge. And that's my take on it. When we return, we will hear a more technical explanation from the director of M&M Engineering, Rocky Matos.